Hey, this is Carl with Gaming on Batteries. Just saw earlier today that Nintendo's announced The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening coming to the coming to the Nintendo Switch later this year. If you haven't seen the video yet, you're in for a treat. If you remember the original Game Boy Color, and then the 3DS re-release, not really a remake, but the re-release on 3DS, the introductions videos, is obvious. It's like 8-bit. But that's the first thing we see on this new video from Nintendo for the Switch remake. Is an all new, fully animated introduction. And you can tell just from that right there. It's you can tell from the attention to detail that Nintendo's put into this. While it's not a shot-for-shot remake of the Game Boy and Game Boy Color introduction, it's pretty. It sets the mood, and it gets things started like any good introduction should. But the real magic's when the game actually starts. The scenes that Nintendo's showing here, they start out in Koholint Village. That shows Link wandering around, chopping grass, fighting various enemies, and they show some later parts of the game, but nothing, no spoilers or anything. But they do show off some like zooming, panning, things like that. But one thing I wanted to bring up was the angled view here. If you remember the original, like the 8-bit Nintendo and Super Nintendo versions of Legend of Zelda, even the Game Boy versions, it's kind of a tilted overhead looking down view, but it's more tilted directly down than it is at an angle looking off into the distance. And this remake that they're making for the Switch, they've given you more of a view into the distance. It's hard to explain, but once you see the video, you'll understand what I mean. But what's interesting about it is things in the distance, like on the outer edges of the screen or at the top of the screen, have a little bit of especially when you're outside or in town or wandering around the wilderness, they have a slight blur to them. Watching the video again now, it's all around the edges of the screen, top, bottom, left, and right. It kind of gives the game a little bit of more depth than before. It's I don't know. To me, it was just something I wanted to point out. So I've noticed no one else is really talking about it. Also, another thing I wanted to point out was graphically, where this looks like it's going to be something like what I said in my article on Retro Magazine. That I'll link to it in the description. But is the graphically we're looking at kind of rendered graphics, I should say. Kind of like Yoshi's Island, or Yoshi's Story on Nintendo 64, but taken about 2 steps farther. I mean, it's a more mature rendered look. It works. It looks like they've mixed rendered with really high detailed hand drawn art, 3D art. Everything line scrolls like 2.5D. If you ever play the Clockwork Knight on a Sega Saturn, you'll know what I'm talking about. Everything's like 2.5D, or Pandemonium on PlayStation and PC. How everything, the whole level shifts, or Klonoa, Tomba, games like that. Anybody who's played those games, they know what I'm talking about here. Everything shifts as your viewpoint changes. It really adds to the depth. I just wanted to point that out. It's kind of cool. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what y'all think of the trailer. Is Link's Awakening, the remake, going to be on your list of Nintendo Switch games that you get this year? Hey, before you go, don't forget to hit subscribe and like the video and click the bell for updates on when we release new videos in the future. Apparently, everybody says that. They say you got to say it. So there it is. But anyway. Keep enjoying games, man. Just if you want to know anything, you want more videos, like and share the ones that we've made so we can see, we pay attention to what y'all want. If you are a comment, and tell us. You know, take care, guys.